For many decades, Egypt has been struggling to establish democracy. In 2011, Egypt broke out with the famous revolution. It started with a simple tweet from the Egyptian youth. The message spread around the whole country to go and protest for their rights. In such a short period of time, millions of Egyptians found out about these protests. What happened was it didn't end with protests. It became a revolution for many reasons. The people are trying to speak out to the world that they no longer want poverty, they no longer want unemployment, and they no longer want a mass percentage of people being illiterate. The people have made it clear that no one is okay with the social gap. In the country that this dictator has led us to live in, we have people who have excessive money and other people who don't even receive their basic needs as human beings. People have made it clear that they are sick and tired of living under a country that has a dictator who has all the power to himself and refuses to help his people. He's a dictator for 30 years and not leaving the presidency if it was the last thing he would do. In the Middle East, many countries were revolting against such regime. One of the first countries to revolt was Tunisia, and each country motivated the other that there can be change, and it's in each other's hands. After the Tunisian revolution, the Egyptian people realized that they too have a voice, they too can speak out, and they too can do something about their miserable lives that they're living in right now. The protests broke out in all of major cities in Egypt, starting in Tahrir Square in Egypt, Cairo. It then spread to Alexandria, Suez, and many other cities in Egypt. Mubarak initially gave concession, including the dissolution of the parliament, agreeing to oversee a process of reform, and promising not to run for re-election in September 2011. The protesters, however, were not satisfied, and by February 8th, there was a widespread calls for Mubarak's resignation. Mubarak is was the president of Egypt at that time. He was the dictator. But on the night of the 10th of February, Mubarak gave a speech in which it was expected he would step down. Anger erupted when he stated plans to merely delegate some of his power. By the next day, he gave up, and on February 11, 2011, he had resigned. On another hand, the United States did have a take on everything that was happening. President Obama did give a speech in Egypt stating what he thought about the revolution and what he thought about what was right in Egypt. President Obama stated in his speech that 2 years ago in Cairo, I began to broaden our engagement based upon mutual interests and mutual respect. I believed then, and I believe now, that we have a stake not just in stability of nations, but in the self-determination of individuals. The status quo is not sustainable. Societies held together by fear and repression may offer the illusion of stability for a time, but they are built upon fault lines that will eventually tear asunder. President Obama sees that the Egyptians are right and that this revolution was necessary in order to obtain a more stable country with democracy. Some events followed after Mubarak stepped down from power. Egypt had re-elections where people went down and voted for every person that was running to become president. What had happened was that the Muslim Brotherhood took advantage of the instability that was happening in Egypt and sent one of the Muslim Brotherhoods to run for elections. He did not state that he was a part of the Muslim Brotherhood. He just said that he supported them. He didn't say that he was one of them. His name was Mohammed Morsi. His campaign was about how he would run the country according to the Sharia. Like, the Sharia is the Islamic way or the Islamic rules to live life. And because more than 80% of Egypt is Muslims, people couldn't deny their religion. They thought, what better person to become our president than one who knows our religion well. It was a major surprise after he won that the country was going down into turmoil, and everyone realized that he was actually one of the Muslim Brotherhood, and he was taking all the wrong steps to the country, and sometimes even going against the country for the Muslim Brotherhood. He was taking many wrong steps. These people were going down in the streets and killing innocent people. In my point of view, because I was living here while Morsi was in power, he did not deserve the presidency, and not because he was elected in a wrong way, but because the group that he supported and the group in which he was a part of were not about religion. They rather took the title to be credible, and this is what all of Egypt realized after he took power and after many events took place in Egypt. They knew nothing about religion, and they were killing innocent children, innocent men, innocent women every day. It was such a horrible experience for me to go through and for many Egyptians in Egypt to go through. We as a country, we could not let this happen, and that's when the people went to protest once again. But this time it was not a revolution, it was a military-led coup. On the 3rd of July 2013, a coalition led by the Egyptian Army Chief General Abdel Fattah al-Sisi removed the president of Egypt, Mohamed Morsi, from power and suspended the Egyptian constitution as a conscious response to the Egyptian protesters who demanded the end of Morsi's administration and the initiation of early presidential elections. Once again, Egypt held elections, this time being aware of who was in religious or non-religious groups. Abdel Fattah al-Sisi became president on March 26, 2014, and he stated in his speech that, "I swear by Almighty God to preserve the Republican system and to respect the Constitution and the law and to care for the interests of the people and to preserve the independence of the nation and its territorial integrity." Egypt now is on its way to democracy. The country is beginning to see stability, although it will take many years to repair, but at least we are on our way. One thing I did notice that during the turmoil of Mohamed Morsi, the United States did not see that it was the right thing to do to have a military coup. But the United States did not see what people in Egypt saw. The United States did not see the slaughter and killing of the Egyptian people. We could not stand it. They said that this was not democracy. Obama stated that this was not democracy. This was actually going against democracy because we elected Mohamed Morsi to become president. But the fact that other countries do not know, that we did not know that Mohamed Morsi was one of the brotherhood, the Muslim Brotherhood, and we did not know that he was affiliated with such group. And to us, these are terrorists to us now. Just how the U.S. sees certain people as terrorists, we as Egyptians see the Muslim Brotherhood as terrorists for us. And basically the country and the Egyptian point of view is much better now. There is a lot more stability, there's a lot more structure. I see that I was just in Egypt just a few months ago. Things are looking up, but as I said before, it will take time. It will take time because no country will ever get out of a revolution and be just okay and stand on its feet. Thank you.